Hello, I'm John McAllister with the John McAllister Sports Report. Today, I am so excited because I have a player on that I wrote about and did a video podcast with 4 or 5 years ago, and brought him back. His dad set it up. I was willing to do it. He was willing to do it, and I'm really excited. He did a great job. My guest today then is Isaiah Jones. If you were watching the national championship, NCAA, the Natty, if you were watching that, you saw a guy recover a punt in the end zone, number 46. Number 46 is Isaiah Jones from London, Ohio. Great person. And he's on. We're going to talk about a little bit about the Natty, but more about him and his advice to young people and what makes him go. If you sit back and enjoyed my podcast with Isaiah Jones from London High School and Indiana University and a member of the national championship team. As I said earlier in the intro, my guest today is Isaiah Jones from hometown London, Ohio. And if you watched TV the other day in the national championship, number 46 recovered the fumble or block punt in the end zone. And I'm so excited to have you on.
Yep, I appreciate you having me, Mr. McAllister. It's a blessing to be on here and be able to, do the show.
Well, you remember I saw you play. And remember, we also did a podcast many moons ago, right?
I remember. And, I appreciate, that was a long time ago, but you put me on here.
Well, congratulations on your success so far in everything. Okay? That's great. Yep. Okay. Tell me, we're not going to talk about the national championship very long because I'm sure you've done interviews, and if people want to see it, they can Google you. But tell me, as an old coach, what went through your mind the day of the game? Bones, huh? Is that how you call you, Bone?
That's what they call me. That's my nickname, Bones. Yeah.
See, I do my homework, man.
You do. You're good. I trust me. I did. You know your stuff. I can tell you that.
Okay, let's go back then and tell me about the day of the game. I know that you have all this going on, but what went through your mind?
Yeah, so we're just as a team, and it starts from Coach Signetti all the way down. We're process oriented, and we get 48 hours out from kickoff, and we have the same schedule. No matter if it's the week one versus an out of conference opponent or the national championship. We stick to a schedule, and we're very methodical in the way we do things, and that starts with Coach Sig. And as a team, we knew it's just you just got to do your 1/11th every play. You just got to do your 1/11th. Just do your job, and we knew as a team, offense, defense, special teams. You put that together, you can win any type of game. So
your emotions, Isaiah, what were those like?
Yeah, honestly, obviously we knew it was the biggest stage at the college level, but a lot of the guys were like laser focused, me included. We knew we had a great year, but it wouldn't be the same if we didn't come out victorious on Monday night last week. So for us, we tried to keep the emotions under control, and we knew we didn't want to let the season go to waste if we didn't bring home a national championship.
Well, okay. How about when you took the field the first time?
What
went through your emotions then?
Yeah, like I said, you try to keep them down, but obviously, you run out and the flames are going off, and you're playing in the national championship, and you kind of take a moment to look around. This is happening. This is real. I'm playing in the national championship. This is what every kid dreams about playing in, and being on the field and running through that tunnel. And so honestly, just blessed to be there.
The tunnel's like, and then we'll go to something else.
So, you're walking down, they've got lights and strobe lights, you're going through, they got smoke, you bring it up on Coach Sig, and then he's gives you the last few words, and then you guys take the field and this shoot and fire. The crowd's going crazy. It's a loud stadium. Um, and you just run through that tunnel, and it's like you're just running into another universe.
That's super. How about what was it like when you recovered the punt or the block punt in the end zone?
Yeah, so Macaw, I mean, he blocked it, and I saw it, and the first thing I was just gonna reach down and pick it up, but I didn't know who was behind me and who was chasing, so I was like, no way, I'm gonna let this moment pass. So I had to jump on it because I just wanted to pick it up and kind of stand there, but I was like, I don't know, someone's probably right behind me, so that's why I kind of dropped on it and just made sure I grabbed it and secured it because I was not gonna let that moment slip out of my hands. But
I'm
it
sure there.
was uh, it was
I'm sure.
crazy.
I'm sure there were some Indiana fans pretty happy.
I
Yeah,
think there's a few Indiana fans probably cheering a little bit.
it's really
Uh,
good. It's really good. Uh, those are my main questions about the whole season. In fact, was kind of you just kept going and going, and it was just it was a Cinderella story in a way, but you
yeah,
also won a lot last year. I mean, it's not like
yeah,
I have tremendous respect for Coach Signetti. I mean, we talked off the air. I mean, he is a class act.
he
Uh,
is.
I mean, he's a
And
confident guy.
confident, but like I've been asked about that as a player. For me, why would you not want to play for a coach that is confident in his players? And I think that's where his confidence comes from. It comes from his experience, and the ability of him to coach. But as a player underneath him, that's just not a facade for the internet, for whatever talk show he's on. He is confident in his players, and that's gives us more confidence to go out there and leave it on the line for him. When he's got our backs like that.
For sure, for sure. We got a little bit of your defensive coordinators from Piqua.
Yeah.
That can't be too far from you. I'm doing geography there, but that's really neat. I think it's impressive that he stayed. Those guys have stayed together for so long, and so
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but I think that goes back to it's Coach Haynes and then the offense coordinator, Coach Shanahan. Just being with Coach Sig, I think the bond that they formed, the trust that they have in each other. Um, I think
wow.
that's kind of what makes them so special. What makes our team special. It's a three-headed monster with special teams, and then obviously the offense and defense coordinators. I think that's kind of just they started at the bottom together, and then now here we are, national champs.
Well, you have one more superstar in London that I have to mention. Mr. Terry Nance is from Upper Sandusky.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
so I'm proud of him. I know he's retired now, but he's a tremendous person.
yeah,
So, okay, let's talk about when I saw you play, and I think college coaches don't spend enough time looking through somebody, into somebody. And I don't think they take everything into consideration. You know, you played in a small school, but you were tough. You could run. You could change direction a little bit there, but you could run and you would hit. And I thought those were amazing qualities. And it's all about getting development. And
yeah.
if you talk your dad, I saw your no, I didn't see him play high school, but I saw him play college and I wrote about him. He he'll probably get mad at me. Tough, determined, and he had a choir boy look about him. But man, he could play.
Yeah,
He came back from the heart problem and lined up and caught a touchdown pass. I mean,
yeah,
I co- Isaiah, there's some toughness there. And so
yeah,
you did the same thing. You did the same. I saw that in you. Now, I don't know if he could go to Ohio State. I didn't know if he could go to Indiana. I didn't know if he could go to Wisconsin, but I knew there was something there. So many of these guys that get rated don't have that something.
right.
They got the top, but they don't have the something. And that's what I think is important. Yeah, your dad, I remember. In fact, small world, his high school coach, I coached for him, Dave Gray.
Really,
Yeah, at
it's a
West
small
Holmes.
world.
It's a small world, man.
It is. It is a
Small world.
small world. It's scary.
Okay, let's talk about your career early because you went through some tough times early.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, what, 2 years? You were a red shirt, and you probably only played a couple of snaps, didn't you? Because did you have a back problem?
Yeah, so my freshman year I got over there, and I wasn't playing a lot. I didn't really sometimes didn't even travel with the team. And after my freshman year, I kind of had back problems throughout the that season, though I felt kind of limited me. But
Right.
after that season, I had back surgery. I had a microdiscectomy on my just had a bulging disc that kind of was pressing on the nerve, bothering me. So I had that fixed, and it made a big difference. There was a lot of pain that went away, a lot of mobility that I regained. But still, sophomore year, just didn't really see the field a lot. And we went 4-8 my freshman year,
Red
three and
shirt.
nine my sophomore year.
What year did you red shirt?
Redshirt in my freshman year.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so redshirt my freshman year. So still sophomore year didn't play. And then Coach Sig and the new staff came in my junior year,
Yeah.
and was able to make plays on special teams, and that's kind of how you earn the respect with this coaching staff is you play on special teams, and no one's good enough to play on special teams. Coach Sig has said that in a press conference. No one's too good to play on special teams. Even this year, like me and our other starting linebackers, it was the three starting linebackers were the guys on punt. So
Yeah.
no one's too good to play on special teams, and I think that's what makes a championship caliber team is you put your guys on the teams, because I mean that's just as important as offense and defense. So as a special teams player of the year last year, led the nation in tackles on special teams, and was dipped my foot in the pond a little bit on defense.
Now, slow down. You led the nation in special teams as far as what, on punt,
Tackles,
on punts.
tackles on
Oh,
anything, kickoff,
okay.
and then was our special teams player of the year for Indiana, and that kind of just
Okay.
rolled over to this year for being able to play more, and still was on special teams, but that I don't have a problem with that. And then was eventually playing a lot of games and contributing a lot. So it's been a journey.
That's really good. 2024 is when you started taking, you what, 13 games, 14 games?
Yep,
Were you a
13.
starter then?
So I was in our three linebacker set. So when they would go bigger, I would play. But this year I was a starting outside linebacker.
Right, right. I was aware. Okay, that's really good. So you have experienced some tough times. I mean, for you, tough times. Did you
Right.
ever think about picking up the phone and calling your dad or not and saying, "Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
my
giving
dad's been he's been with me through it all. My whole family has, but I've definitely, long conversations with him. It's all about. But I mean, like he told me, not everything's easy, and stuff that's worth something in life is not going to come easy. And I don't think he could be any more right about that. After this year, but you just look back and all those times, you're getting blown out at home, and you have no one in the stands watching, fan wise, and
you're
it's
good."
crazy. It's crazy now to be on the other side of it. And the funny thing is that we have like freshmen that have come in this year, and this is all they've known at Indiana football.
Yeah.
So it's an experience. All the guys that were here with me my freshman sophomore year that's still here and will be here next year. We kind of chuckle about it because some of these guys don't get it, don't understand it.
Well, they don't know. I
They
talked to
don't.
talked to he's graduated now, a player up in Michigan. He's from Ohio, small school, maybe smaller than London, and he went to Michigan on a scholarship. And he told me, he said, "Well, one of the biggest things when I played high school football, we go to practice at say 7:30, 8 o'clock, go home, eat lunch, and come back and practice in the afternoon." He said at Michigan, we got there at 7:30 and left at 10:30 at night. You didn't go home. You didn't go anyplace.
Right.
Right
Right.
there. It takes a while, and plus, football's a tough game, man.
It is. Yeah.
Hard game, and people don't realize that. And but see, go back to you. You can also just you're a developmental kind of guy. You
Yeah.
know, and that's important. And the stars I have no use for, never have. They don't mean
Yep.
anything. It's all about money, man. Money.
Yep.
And
You got it.
it's about money, and it's about that's what it is really. And those guys don't know. I mean, they can't evaluate, so they don't. But anyway, it's all money, and if the more stars that Ohio State gets, the more fans will buy the stuff. It's all about that. And your goal
Yeah.
is play on Sundays. So
Right.
you don't care
None
about
of
this.
that matters.
Well, that's all that matters.
If you can play, the coaches will find you.
Oh my golly. And plus, oh my goodness, that's so true. And even in small schools, Isaiah, small colleges, they stop
Yeah.
there. They go there.
Yeah.
It's
They
just
do.
and and for me, when I did the real serious business, it was so important to talk to guys because if you talk to a guy for 15 minutes, you know. And
Yeah.
I don't think colleges do enough of that. Maybe Indiana does, but a lot of schools don't. Okay. I got this goes so we got 15 minutes. I shoot for about 20 and we're at 15, so we got to keep going here. Okay, tell me what's the biggest difference from college to from high school to college? What's the biggest difference?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest difference for me is just the preparation it takes, if you really want to be, a good player. High school you can kind of get away with being, maybe the better athlete on the field, being a bigger kid, a faster kid. But when you get to college, you're not going to be that. Matter of fact, you might be on the other spectrum of it. And so, if you want to be a good player and you want to make plays, it's the preparation that goes into it. It's how serious you take your off season workouts. Your nutrition. Like you said, football is a hard sport. You might get banged up. How serious do you take your recovery? And then, it's all in the film room. Coach Sig says something where, 90 to 95% of the games here. And he's right. You can be the most talented player in the world, but if you don't have it here and you don't focus on the things you should focus on and you don't watch film and study and prepare and know the playbook like the back of your hand, you won't be able to play
Even
in this day and age.
even nutrition. I mean,
Yeah,
follow what you're supposed to do.
right.
It's so huge now. It's so huge.
Yeah.
Nutrition. We're going to find out more and more. And I agree with Coach Sig. It's and you can usually tell those guys. Though. See, I can think you can tell who those guys are.
Yeah. It is.
I've heard you say this before, and I'm a little concerned. And I know you did, but you play with a chip on your shoulder. But that's just a building block, isn't it? That's not a cement block, is it? That's just a pretty good block to play, isn't it? Or not?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that chip will always be there, and I think that's kind of. I think a lot of guys, if not most of the guys on our team, have little chips on their shoulders.
Have
Throughout
to.
their
You
got to. I mean, you have to have a chip on your shoulder. Guys that don't. I think, like you said, they don't pan out. But that's what made our team special. We have a lot of guys with chips all over their shoulders, bodies. From throughout their careers. People tell them they can't do this, can't do that, not big enough, not fast enough, not a Division I Power Five type of player. Um, and there's just a lot of guys that have been told that their whole life,
yeah,
and they have something to prove.
yeah, yeah. But don't make it a cement block, Isaiah.
Right.
Make it a little wall block or something. No, I agree. I play with
Yeah.
a chip on my shoulder,
Yeah.
in certain things because you think, you got an attitude. You got to prove you're the best.
Right.
Whatever you
Right.
do,
Right.
really good. I know you did, and I know you do, but even it's now in Indiana, you can all have chips on your shoulder because you got to prove you deserve the national
Right.
championship.
Right.
But I'm sure you won't let it ruin your life. Small town. Give me advice if a player is from small town. What should he do to get recruited?
Yeah. This is obviously something I had to, go through. If you're from like a smaller school, smaller town, you might not have all these college coaches rolling through.
Yeah.
But I mean, in this day and age, there's technology, there's ways they'll find you. If
Oh yeah.
all I would say is you just worry about what you can do on that field. And then, but it doesn't stop there. The good coaches that are looking, if you want to stand out, they're going to ask around about you. You got to do the right stuff on and off the field. But, don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. And not everybody's path the same. Like I said, we have a lot of guys that didn't go Division I right out of college.
Right.
They might have went, smaller schools. They might have not went Power Five. So I would never let that stop any high school player from continuing their dreams because in
Right.
this day and age you might go spend one season with the team that's not Power Five, and
Yeah.
then next thing you know every team wants you because you went there and dominated. So don't let the circumstances make up your mind or change your mind or influence you one way or the other because well, this kid's a 5-star and he's going to the #1 team in the nation. You might not be. You might be a 0-star. Like we have a lot of guys on our teams that started that were 0 stars,
Yeah,
or maybe not the highest ranked guys. But don't let that influence your decision. Don't let that smother your dreams. It's all about if you can play, they'll find you. And I tell everybody that if you're good enough, a coach will find you. They'll give you a chance, and then from there, it's all about what you do with your chance because everyone's path is different in this world.
that's good. And the transfer portal has just wreaked havoc, but
Yep.
still there are some good things about
Yeah.
it. There are some, just like you said, Isaiah, it gives you a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
okay.
all you need.
But recruiting high school players is really tough now
Yeah,
because
it
of
is
because of
because
that.
of the transfer portal.
And so sometimes I'm not so sure you don't go to a smaller school. Well, look at the guys that played at James Madison
That's what I'm saying.
that are playing with you guys. I mean,
And
playing
they're
at
playing, and now they're draft picks. So,
Piano.
like I said, it all works out.
Yeah.
Don't be discouraged.
What do you see? Oh, I want to talk about character. I read where you were a volunteer at the food pantry in London.
I
And what?
was. Yep.
So you must have some character, guy. You must be some good character to volunteer for that. It's really good. See, I told you I do homework.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's impressive. Yeah.
what do you see? And we're about done. And I may call you again sometime, but
That's
we're
fine.
about done here. What's the biggest challenge for high school players coming out now? What's the biggest challenge for them?
Yeah, so I mean, I can speak from experience, for myself, but then also, I've been with the freshmen the last few years, seeing them come in. The
Right.
biggest challenge is the commitment, and it's the freedom. Like I said, like you're gonna be living on your own. You're gonna have a roommate, but he's gonna be a freshman. You're gonna have all these distractions. You're gonna have, older guys. You're gonna have, support. Surround yourself with guys you want to be like. Pick out a few older guys on the team, and guys that are high quality character and do what you want to do and are successful. And surround yourself with them. And that's what I did. I picked guys older in the linebacker room. Guys, I looked up to. I wanted to be like on and off the field. That's important,
Yeah.
and those guys will build you up.
That once on and off the field.
Yes, that's just off the field is almost more important than on the field. Like if you're at this level, you can play. Um, it's the off the field stuff where you see guys
Yeah.
ruin their talent. So
Yeah.
pick guys you want to be around. Pick guys that are like minded like you. And those guys will pour into you. Those guys will build you up. Um, those are the people you want to be around. And it's just a transition from where you were living at home and you had high school and you went and saw the same people every day in class to you're on a campus with 40 to 50,000 people. Your mom and dad aren't there. You got coaches demanding excellence out of you. You have all this free time. You can do what you want. You have no one telling you when to go to bed, what to eat.
Yeah.
It's dealing with that freedom and doing the right things. That's the biggest impact on the freshman now. Um, and just staying humble.
Okay, that's a super answer. Now, last question. What are your goals? Now you got this year coming up to be a leader, make
Right.
All American, I would think.
Yep.
First team. I would think those would be goals. What are your goals for down the road? I mean, are you going to try to go to be an NFL guy?
Yeah. Obviously, I love this game, and it takes a lot out of you. But for me, I wanna ride this till the wheels fall off, and I want to take my career as far as I can, and God wills me to. So, keep my faith in Him. At some point, like even Tom Brady, everyone's got to hang up the cleats sometimes. So for me, it's I've got my degree. I'm working on doing an MBA, but I want to take my career as far as I can right now. And then when I'm done, you know that I just gave it my all. Whether that's after college, whether that's NFL, however many years I can keep playing the game that I love. But that's the plan.
I read where your dad said that God put you at Indiana or directed you to Indiana or God. That's so important.
Yeah,
Okay. And just having God on your side is huge, I think.
Yeah, it
Without
is.
getting into too deep here, I mean, I believe it, but
Yeah.
it's so important, I think. Well, Isaiah Bones, I really appreciate you doing this. It's a fantastic, fantastic job. Thank you
I
very much.
appreciate it. I appreciate you having me. I just still remember, you had me on here when I was just some three-star, recruit from London, Ohio, 4 years ago. So I had no problem, and I love, you coming back and allowing me on the show.
Well, McAllister's pretty good at what he does.
Yeah,
So
he is. He's got an eye.
I'm just joking. Okay. Stay with me for just